What's up, people? Welcome to our review of Pokemon Sun and Moon.
I'm the co-host for this review.
Awesome, let's get into it. My question is, should we play Pokemon?
Well, yeah, of course. Why not?
Pokemon has just released a few of the new Pokemon of this generation, and honestly, most of the original players from like the first few generations stopped playing because of the poor designs.
Well, that's going to happen. Some people will outgrow things. The other complaint is gamers don't find the games challenging. But I think that's going to change in this generation. Everything that has been released looks extremely promising.
From the trailer and the previews, this game seems to be a lot more advanced than the previous generations, and it captures like what you used to feel from Red and Blue version. The Pokemon look like those from the first generations, and the designs aren't really a stretch from what you would imagine Pokemon to look like.
Old school gamers who have complaints with the horribly designed Pokemon don't need to fear. I think that Game Freak took a step back and re-evaluated what made the original Pokemon so popular. Just look at the new starters. Just like the old ones, they are themed closely from animals, and that's what resonated with the original generation of gamers.
Let's start off with my favorite of the three starters, Rowlet. This little rascal is the overall favorite of the group so far, which is unique. There hasn't been a unanimous favorite grass type in a long time, if ever, usually because they're so weak and have boring attacks.
Yeah, speaking of typing, it's also part flying, giving it a slight advantage over previous grass types. Also, another move we have never seen before, Leafage, which gives us all hope for all of the grass types out there. Maybe grass types will be getting better moves across the board. This is my version of Rowlet's final evolution. I drew inspiration from a barn owl and a leaf.
Awesome, my design has leaves as the wings and the tails, and I think he's going to be a special attacker, so those leaves are probably going to shoot out, which would be really cool. I'm definitely excited to see what his final evolution will look like, hopefully something cool like Charizard.
Next up is the fire-type cat Pokemon Litten. I personally think the starter has many opportunities. We already know it's a fire-dark type. As long as it doesn't evolve into a fire-fighting type, it should be fine. I see potential for Litten. Here's what I think it'll evolve into.
Yeah, I think the fire dark typing is really cool. And it's kind of cool how it has like an alchemical symbol for sulfur on its head. And I read on the Pokemon website that it uses oil rather than actually shooting out fire. So I think that's a pretty unique design.
Next up is my favorite out of the three, Poplio. I honestly think its typing could be a water and psychic. I think mostly because of the ball on its nose. I just don't think it's there for design. I mean, Nintendo wouldn't do that unless it had a purpose. In the description of Poplio, it stated that the Pokemon is very agile. It would be cool if Poplio could use a new powerful psychic move with its freaking nose. I added the surfboard to mine because it seems pretty speedy. Let's go Team Poplio.
I'm not a fan of the design, honestly. It looks fan-made, but I like the concept of the Pokemon blowing bubbles, and a psychic water type is unique, but I kind of wanted a fighting water type. That would have been really cool. But this Pokemon is basically a fail for water types for me, unless it has a really awesome final evolution. I drew inspiration from a surfboard like you, and I really didn't see what this evolution is going to look like in my mind, but hopefully it's cool.
I see that happening, but we have more than the starters to look at for this generation. And this is what I mean about Pokemon being based off animals, like the good old days. Check out the dog Pokemon of this generation. I think it's cool that it's a rock type, but it could be useless against water types. But I think it's a good Pokemon, and it's cool.
You're right, it's really reminiscent of old Pokemon designs. I have to commend the fact that they returned to their winning formula and weren't lazy about it. Take this Pokemon for example. It looks like a koala, and it's something that's like the older Pokemon from the first gen, and I really like that. Even though it looks like a baby evolution, I'm excited to see what it evolves into.
I mean, I get they do the bird thing every generation, but why this one? I mean, Rowlet's already a bird, so why would you add this?
Yeah, this thing, it's cool. I mean, it might just be one of the Pokemon that you always have to encounter in the grass and you don't really like.
This bug thing, erupting. I mean, it's annoying, but it's a bug type Pokemon people are going to
This is actually a really cool Pokemon. I'm hoping that this is I'm excited to talk
event. I think this one is funny. Charger bug. It looks like a bus, but also an insect. It kind of looks like a power outlet that you plug in, and when you put in your USB. It's like you charge your phone, but it's pretty unique for portable charger.
No way. I definitely want this guy. Not because of how he looks, but look at that evolution. Check out its design. It's just really cool. Vikavolt is just a really cool name, and I'm definitely gonna make him part of my team. Hopefully he has a good moveset and really good stats.
Okay, but there are two letdowns so far of this generation: Drampa and Brugshis. The typing is interesting, I'll give them that, but neither of these two look good to me. Drampa may grow on to me, but this design is just odd. They should have named it Grandpa. I mean, look at that thing. It looks so old. It looks like Mushu from Mulan. My gosh, what a ripoff.
Yeah, I'm not excited about this one, but
And Brugshis, my gosh, what is that thing? It looks like a rejected magic card. But anyway, what is with the design? The puckered lip in the teeth. I mean, I know it's a piranha, but they couldn't make it look even better. I mean, water psychic is pretty cool, I guess, but it's just ugly.
yeah, it looks like the Pokemon that they released was just to get people excited about it. These aren't going to be the competitive Pokemon that you take to the Elite Four. You have this Cutie Fly, which is like, yeah, it's a good design. I mean, I just like that these designs don't look far fetched. But this Toga Demaru, I'm going to call him Tomu. He looks pretty cool. He's a steel electric type. He's going to be like the Pikachu of the region. That's really cool typing. And I wonder if he's going to have really good stats. And if he has like a Raichu type evolution, that's going to be awesome, especially if you give him more dark accents to his look. I'd be really excited. Pokemon unveiled the new legendary of the region, Tapu Koko, and it is another electric type, but this one looks more serious than the others. It's not a baby evolution, and I really want it on my team.
I'm in love with Tapu Koko.
Now, what about the legendaries on the box covers?
So I know there's been speculation about Solgaleo being connected to Lysander and all. But what about Volcanion? In X and Y, they announced 3 secret legendaries. They were Diancie, Hoopa, and of course Volcanion. Diancie had his fair share of popularity in X and Y events, and Hoopa had rings that summoned legendaries and auras. But Volcanion didn't really have an event or any screen time. That's why I think he'll play a big role in Sun and Moon. Isn't it kind of odd that they didn't use a Volcano Pokemon in a game that was mostly about big cities like Lumios? He wouldn't fit in Paris, right? So I wondered what they would do with him. Maybe they can put him on an island. A volcano on an island surrounded by water. That sounds about right. I mean, the clues are all there. Volcanion has something to do with Sun and Moon.
Yeah, I think so. But just looking at these two designs, the lion and this bat-like legendary, it's just really cool. And it's like X and Y, where they have one ground Pokemon and one Pokemon in the sky. I like these designs, and they both seem to be related to one another, and I think they both also have a secondary form, which will be cool to see throughout the game. But yeah, I also hope that since this game has more to do about space, that they also show us some more space Pokemon besides Deoxys and Clefairy.
Yeah, but now it's time for a lightning round of Mega Evolutions.
First up are Mega Solrock and Mega Lunatone.
Second off is the Johto Mega Starters.
Next is my Dragonite evolution. I think this is really cool.
Next is Kingler, which I think looks really cool too.
I've been waiting for a Lantern one, so hopefully they give us this.
And since Oros didn't have Megatropius, here it is.
From the trailers, we've learned a lot about the geography of this place, and it looks a lot more open than any of the other old games, and it's not that A to B format. You look like you have a lot more free roaming.
A cluster of islands. How unique. It's kind of like the Orange Islands. This is really different than any other games we had. I think that you have to use HMs to get around, but it makes the adventure part of this game more interesting. Also, just off the top of my head, it feels like there's going to be 2 or 3 gyms on an island.
So Dylan, speaking as someone who was around when there was only one generation of Pokemon, do you think this is a good jumping on point for old school fans?
Yes, I think so. The younger and older generation can enjoy this game together. This is a type of game where anyone can play. I mean, it's rated E for everyone for a reason.
Me too. I think that this game is a novel concept, and it's like that of the first game, where if you come in with an open mind, you're definitely going to like it. And it has new mechanics and new Pokemon, and I think you're going to love it as much as the originals.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to see the original mechanics mixed with the new mechanics. I totally want to see a Snorlax being woken up by an iPhone app or Rotom Dex has to sync to it.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. I think Gen 1 players originally left the games because they thought the game became too repetitive and the new Pokemon didn't seem interesting. but anyone who's really enjoyed Pokemon back in the day will probably love this game if they gave it a try. It looks challenging, and it looks like all the Pokemon are like that of the old type.
For sure, all of the Elite Fours I faced, I think Kanto's the most challenging battles ever. And finding out that your rival is actually the region champion was a huge plot twist. I would want to see something like that, but from an unexpected character, like Wally, who started out really nervous and never really liked to battle, but as the story would progress, his personality would too.
Well, that's our opinion on Sun and Moon, and we're really excited for it to come out.
Yes, sir. Y'all should go pre-order it. I just got mine and they gave me a free Darkrai. I'm definitely excited for Team Poplio. I hope it gets a Mega Evolution. Thanks for watching. This is A Complex. Also feel free to check out my channel, Toon Inc. There I make short animation projects and I like to play some Super Smash Bros. If you like the content on there, then subscribe. Please comment below any interesting theories that you have for Sun and Moon.